The sound of the evacuation siren was still echoing through the valley when I jumped into the county's Evac engine. A wildfire was tearing down the ridge, moving faster than anyone expected, and my job as a firefighter was clear. The roads, escort residents, and keep the main escape routes open. That's when the radio crackled with a report that made my stomach sink. Train crossing blocked, white SUV parked across the tracks. I knew that crossing well. It was the only road out for an entire cul-de-sac of families. If it was blocked, dozens of lives could be at risk. I slammed the engine into gear and raced down the winding road, sirens wailing. When I rounded the bend, my headlights lit up the problem. There she was, HOA Karen herself, parked diagonally across the tracks. Arms folded, looking smug. Karen had been a thorn in our side for months. She was notorious for enforcing made-up HOA rules, ticketing her own neighbors, and even calling the cops on kids selling lemonade. Now, unbelievably, she had chosen to park across a train crossing because, as she shouted when I rolled up, no one uses this shortcut unless they're approved by the HOA. Nice. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Flames were glowing on the ridgeline, smoke choking the air, and she was treating this like some personal fiefdom. I stepped out, still in my gear, and told her she had 30 seconds to move her car before I pushed it off with the engine. She actually laughed, and said, "You wouldn't dare. That's HOA property now, that was it." I got back behind the wheel, threw the engine into low gear, and nudged her SUV with 30 tons of steel. The screech of metal on metal made her scream louder than the fire. Her car skidded sideways, clearing just enough space for fleeing families to get through. One after another, cars streamed past. Kids crying in the back seats while parents mouthed thank yous as they escaped. Karen, on the other hand, stood there in shock, shrieking about lawsuits and damage to her vehicle. But the sheriff's cruiser rolled up just in time, lights flashing through the smoke. He took one look at the scene, cuffed her, and tossed her in the back seat. Blocking an evacuation route is a crime, and she was about to learn the hard way. By the time the flames reached the crossing, every family was safe on the other side. Karen's SUV wasn't. It melted into a heap of twisted metal while the train barreled through, horn blaring. I watched from the driver's seat of the Evac engine. I couldn't help but think, some people never learn till the fire itself teaches them.